Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. This is Allison, and in this video I'm sharing with you guys just some few tips, some few self-care tips for those of us, or if you are a caregiver or you have been a caregiver. I'm almost certain if you're over the age of 40, 50, or 60, you have been serving in that role or have served in that role as a, a caregiver. So whether it's caring for a sick child, or you might have parents or siblings. And so in this video, I'm going to just give you guys just some few tips, a few self-care tips and things that you can do to take care of yourself while you are a caregiver. Before I get started in these tips, if you're new here, allow me to tell you a little bit about the channel. I'm Allison, and on the channel, I provide just some basic holistic health and wellness self-care tips for Black women over the age of 50 to empower them to live the life that they desire and deserve, age gracefully, and obtain optimal health. So with that said, let's get started in these tips. And as I mentioned earlier, if you are over the age of 40, definitely by the time you reach 60, you have been a caregiver or you're probably currently a caregiver. One thing that I have learned, because I have been a caregiver for um, family members, I've been a caregiver to a caregiver, supporting my husband as he's caring for people in his family. And what I've learned through that role of caregiver, especially for those of us, especially for Black women over the age of 50, you you don't get a blueprint on what to do and what not to do and how to take care of yourself while you are uh, taking care of other people. And in fact, if you're a Black woman over 50, it's almost um, ingrained in us as to that's what it is that we are supposed to supposed to do. And I know for me, a little personal story before I get into some of these tips. I remember I was caring for a family member that had been diagnosed with a chronic illness, and I had to travel to the state where this family member lived. And they were in the hospital and was getting the care that they were needing. But because of this diagnosis, myself along with other family members, we went into all hands on deck. We're going to make sure that they overcome, this family member overcome what they were going through. So you just drop everything. We dropped everything that we were doing and went to that state and pretty much just set up camp. And even when this loved one was in the hospital and getting the care that they need, it was no, we're going to be here um, around the clock. And so, if that meant forgetting everything that um, we were doing, that's what that's what you had to do. So I remember one day coming home, well, leaving the hospital again. I was traveling out of state, and I remember leaving the hospital, and it was had been just like a really really bad day. This particular loved one was a little tough, not the best patient. And so, anyways, it was a very difficult day. And I recall leaving the hospital and deciding, you know what, I'm going to go and get me something to eat. And so I got on the expressway, was headed to um, my one of my favorite restaurants in the area, and I got off the exit. And so there was some traffic out, and I remember sitting as soon as I got off of the exit, I made a right, and there was somewhat of a backup. Cars were the light was red, so all the cars were at a standstill, and it was just one lane of traffic, one lane. One lane going this way and one lane going the opposite way. And I got off of the exit, and I was just waiting at the light and not really paying any attention. And I needed to turn left to get to the restaurant. I just got out of the lane and went over into the wrong lane and was just there waiting for the light to to turn so I can to turn green so I can turn left. And as I was sitting there, the police, I could see the sirens and I could see the police behind me, and they woke me up out of my daze or whatever. And my thoughts was, why are they coming after me? I haven't done anything. So I could see the light, and that's when I woke up. Like I said, I woke up and I was like, okay, why are they coming after me? Then I look, oh my gosh, I am in the the wrong lane. In the traffic on the other side, the light was red, so they were waiting for the light to turn green so they can turn where I was. So I immediately pulled over into the grass. It was like an office complex or something. I remember going over the curb and just pulling over in the grass. And thank God the police, they weren't even really after me. They were headed to like an emergency or something. So I just pulled over, got out of the way. They didn't have time to really deal with me to come back and say, okay, you're in the wrong lane. And so no sooner than I turned, moved over into the grass, um, the lights changed, and that was really, amongst other things that had been transpiring, but that was truly like really like a wake up call for me, and it made me think, okay, you're gonna have to do better here because you're gonna either kill yourself or you could either kill yourself or well cause an accident. You could have gotten injured or someone else could have gotten injured, and you're in your head, you're not paying any attention. um you need to slow up. And so from that point on, and as I mentioned, over the course of the years, being in that role of a caregiver, it that was just like the final straw. So from that time on, I started, making sure doing some things when I was in that role of caregiver, that I made sure that I did some things to take care of myself. So I know that's a long story, but let me get started in these tips. These are just some practical tips for those of you that are caregivers, and things that you can do to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So one of the things that one of the tips that I suggest you do is to give yourself permission. When we're caring for other people, especially if they're going through an illness, and especially if it's like a chronic illness or something, we we feel we feel like really really guilty sometimes. So I know at least I did. Okay, I'm healthy, and they're going through this thing, and so you might feel a little guilty. So my first tip or suggestion to you is to really give yourself permission, because unfortunately there might not be anyone around you to give yourself permission to to take care of yourself. It is okay for you to um, take care of yourself while you are taking care of others. And that guilt feeling, for many, that sort of kind of comes with the territory. So I would say my first tip is to give yourself permission to take care of yourself while you're taking care of others. You can't pour from an empty cup if you can't pour from an empty cup. Saying you can't really truly be a blessing to others if you're depleted. So that would be my first one, is to give yourself permission to take care of yourself. The second thing I would suggest is to say maybe block out some time, and especially if it's ongoing. Say if you're 50 or 60 years old and you're taking care of a parent, and that parent might be 80 or 90 years old, and that person is living with you. Block out some time during your day, even if it's for like 10 to 15 minutes, to do something especially for you. So if your loved one is on like a schedule, um, when they sleep, you sleep. If you are a parent and you've had small children, they tell you when you come home with the baby, when the baby takes a nap, you take a nap. So try to find 10 to 15 minutes in your day, especially if it's like really, really stressful, or especially if you're really new to this whole um, self care thing while caregiving. Just a lot, at least 10 to 15 minutes to start daily, to find things that you can do. Or if your loved one is taking a nap, um, you take a nap. Another thing that you could do is to um, definitely make sure that you are eating, you're you're watching what you're eating, where you eating nutritious foods, you're you're drinking your water, you're also um, doing some form of movement. So say for, if you have implemented this um, 15-minute break a day, and some of those days you can probably, maybe, if you can't get away, you can start trying to do some form of movement or some form of exercises or some form of stretching. So you want to make sure that you're you're eating you're eating nutritious foods. You want to make sure that you are drinking your water, and you want to make sure that you are getting some form of movement in um, every single day. Another thing that you can also do is delegate. Find other people, other family and friends. And I know for a lot of people, sometimes we might have family members that don't want to step up. In especially in the cases where, with the delegation, and if you're not the only family member, say that you have other family members, but you're the person, you're the go-to person that they look to do everything, or you've just taken it upon yourself to do everything, and you don't ask for help. Start asking for help. Delegate some responsibilities. And even if that person really don't want to be hands on, when your loved one, say, it's going asleep, that person can come over while um, your the loved one is asleep, and just being present while you uh, go out, um, go treat yourself to something. But the next thing is to delegate. If there's not anyone around, maybe try to find resources or someone available where you can, well, some resources available. So if there's Medicare or some insurance companies, maybe you could talk to a doctor, or reach out to um, your church, If you have family, I mean, if you have friends, maybe someone in the neighborhood or something. So if you don't have like immediate family members or any family members, so say it's just you and a parent or you and your mother, maybe reach out to a church, or if they're on insurance or Medicare, maybe see, I think it's Medicaid for seniors, I forget. But reach out and see if there's some resources or things available. You can also go online and maybe look and see what free or low cost resources are available for you. I know if you go through CARE, um, you can create a profile and maybe um, look into, you might be able to hire someone to maybe come in and just sit for a couple of hours. Um, the next thing that you can do is, if you're a spiritual person, um, pray. Um, pray to God, whomever your God is. Make sure you take time to take care of your spiritual self. Meditate. Also, um, gratitude journal. Just journaling any thoughts or things that you might be having, or if you're feeling stressed out, try to get that out of your head and write it down through journaling, or find something to be grateful for. Keep a gratitude journal. Put affirmations and things around your room, around your home, anything just to keep you encouraged. So either through prayer, or if you don't have a, whatever your spiritual practice is, or whatever your beliefs are, try to find time to tap into tap into that. Another thing that you can do is stay in touch with your community. um, Talk to family and friends. So even if you're not delegating to them, it's very, very important that you just stay connected with people, something that take your mind away from what what you're going through, and it really helps alleviate some of the stress that you might be feeling from taking care of taking care of your loved one. And even if you can say get away, I know I take a yoga class, and a couple of um, the attendees, they're caregivers, but they have found time during their day to come in and take like an exercise class. But yeah, find ways to just stay in contact, stay connected to your community. If you can get away just briefly to go maybe take an exercise class, or call a friend, go out for lunch if you can. If you can't really get away a lot, again, it's very important that you stay connected through your community. Um, Another thing is to try to pick up a hobby. And this hobby can be something that you can do at home, something that, again, can take your mind away when you are caring for your loved ones. So that could be maybe learning how to crochet, learning how to knit, um, adult coloring. You can paint. There are tons of YouTube videos available where you can pick up a quick and easy hobby. Maybe read if you can't, um, have the attention span that would say read a novel. Maybe just start out during those 15 minutes, pick up a magazine or something and read an article or something in a magazine. Or if you're a library member, you can download audiobooks. So you can listen to audiobooks, or what is it? Yeah, audiobooks through your library for free. But again, find some type of hobby or something that you could do to take your mind away. And also, if I go back to if your loved one is in the hospital, they are getting the care that they need. And when they are in the hospital, it's okay for you not to be there around the clock. It's okay for you to take a break. They have your contact information. And even if you don't feel comfortable, say, with leaving the premises, a lot of the hospitals have you can go outside. You can Most of them have restaurants and things close by or have a cafeteria or something. But if your loved one is in the hospital, really take advantage of that time where you don't have to be there around the clock. It's okay for you not to have to be there. So even if you leave for an hour and walk down the street to have your lunch or have your dinner or have breakfast or whatever, it's okay. So try to take advantage of that when they are um, in the hospital, or even if they're getting at-home care, and say if a nurse comes by to help with some type of therapy, that's an opportunity for you to say, sit outside if you can. Um, Go outside and get some fresh air while they're getting the help that they need. If a medical professional is at the home offering some kind of care, you can just sit outside. You're still available, but you're there. And the biggest thing when you're caregiving and you don't want to be too far away, you have to be real creative with what are some of the things that I can do to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. So it might not look like um, it once was when that person didn't need you, but you have to think of some creative ways to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Um, let's see. And I think that's it. Again, you want to just make sure that you're prioritizing your self care. You want to make sure that you're developing your your spiritual life. So whether that be through prayer or meditation, the most important thing is that you prioritize your self care. You give yourself permission to do that while you are caregiving. And just remember, you cannot give from an empty cup. So if you're depleted, you're not going to be able to really truly show up for um, your loved one that is going through this challenging time. So you want to make sure that you are your best so that you can give them your best. So that concludes my this video on just some basic self-care tips for those of us who are caregiver. Oh yeah, and finally, and I forgot to mention that if you can afford it, um, talk to someone, so whether it be through a therapist or a close family friend, a pastor, or whomever your spiritual leader are. Find a way to find someone that you can talk to help you with processing everything that you have going on, and that can really offer you some additional professional tips and supports. Well, that concludes this video. And in the comments section, please let me know if you're a caregiver, if you've been a caregiver, what are some of the things that you did or are you're doing to take care of yourself while you are taking care of others. Um, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new here, I would love for you to become a part of this community. And one way you can do that is by hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell. So when new videos are out, you will be the first to know. Thank you so much for watching, and please take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.